this morning is your heart right with God?
My God.
That's the question. We hand out at the Rock. We give out backpacks to our children, and my truck is loaded with stuff for the homeless this time of year. We give school supplies out. We give out free meals, and we give out scholarships to our children. I'm just talking about us, and I know some of y'all do the same thing. We give scholarships to our children. I say, wonderful work indeed. But is your heart right with God? And I know some of y'all dedicated. Every time the church doors swing open, as the pastor has requested, you are there. You are there. But again, I get it. The pastor asked you to come and you showed up. But I'm going to keep asking this question this morning. Is your heart right with God? No amount of work that you do for God will ever take the place of having a heart that's right with Him. But for some reason, many people of God and I was going through the book looking at this stuff, and so it took me a minute. It's many in the Bible over the years who've come up with this crazy notion that they could please Him through their service and their offerings, and they didn't have to be concerned about their heart's condition. Some of the very people that we look up to in the Word. And so, Dad, I took the time when I was doing this, I wanted to actually point to the scripture, but if you go to 1 Samuel chapter 15 and you look at verses 22 and 23, you'll see Saul there when he was king. He offered huge sacrifice. And what he was doing was he was hoping that Yahweh would turn a blind eye to his disobedience. Yeah. Tashani, you go further in that, right? And you go to 2 Samuel chapter 12, you'll see my dude David even did the same thing when he thought that all he had done on the Father's behalf, that Yahweh would overlook his sin. And now, does anybody remember Ananias and Sapphira? I think y'all just talked about them recently. They thought that, the gift that they gave was generous. Now, y'all need to understand that. It wasn't like they were really not giving anything. What they gave was generous, right? But they thought what they gave, right? They thought that it would cover up their deceitfulness. And y'all know how that turned out. But I have one more to include because it's the guy we really look up to. Paul thought that the energy and the zeal that he put in, when it came time to doing what he was doing, he thought that he was impressing and pleasing God. But it was something that he wrote later on there, Sister Mason, that got my attention to be like, Paul figured it out. He figured it out. And we read this one a lot. And I had to look at that scripture because I tend to teach it another way. But after his conversion, right, when he was talking to the church in Corinth, in 1 Corinthians 13, he said that, man, this is what I learned. He said, if I have the faith to move mountains, and if I gave all that I have to the poor, and if I offer my body to be burned for the sake of Yahweh, and my heart's not right, it means absolutely nothing. So I ask y'all this morning again, is your heart right with God? I know y'all doing good things, and I know that you might, even for the sake of the community, it's good intentions, but if your heart isn't right with God, none of it matters.
That's right.